07 citizens, my name is Black and welcome to my channel CasaBLACK Gaming, where my house is your house. Now those of you who know me from my channel know that I normally am a pretty positive guy. I literally say to keep it positive at the end of every one of my videos, but I do sometimes have some clashing or negative opinions about any game that I play. And so even though I never want to come off as angry or salty, I do think there are some valid complaints that I can share, but I will also offer up some constructive feedback and not just complain for the sake of complaining. After all, Star Citizen is an alpha and needs feedback and not just drama. So with this topic, I'm going to try to not be so down in the dumps over it, even though it can be hard. So let's get to this complaint. So over the weekend through Evocati, it was found out that the Corsair would be losing 2 of its size 5 guns to the co-pilot, and as anyone would expect, this unannounced nerf hit the community in the feels. Not only is the Corsair easily one of the top 10 most flown ships at the moment, it comes at a time when speeds have also been tinkered with, and let's not forget that this has been the year of implementing master modes, which is still up in the air in terms of player support. Now on the one hand, CIG is in the middle of making massive changes to ships in combat, and what is easily the largest update to those systems the game has ever seen, and we're not even quite home yet with seeing those changes in our hands, with 4.0 being that time. However, 4.0 has not even reached Evocati yet, so again we're still waiting just to see this somewhat total vision of what CIG has been showcasing and discussing and promising for years now. To say it's premature for players to think everything is doomed is a pretty fair assessment, but it's also a fair assessment to say that things are so far not going very well with CIG's campaign to get arguably their most popular gameplay feature in the good graces of the players, and make no mistake here, it is up to CIG to get players on board, because this is a feature that will definitely cause players to either keep playing or leave the game. This is pretty much a NGE Star Wars Galaxy feeling to me, where the game could fundamentally shift, and maybe not for the better in many players' eyes, which could divide the player base. Now I do want to say that for my own thoughts on master modes and the many changes, I'm more on the industrial side of gameplay and not great with ship-to-ship combat, so I do not feel like I have a dog in this fight necessarily, but I will be very into the multiplayer combat on larger ships with engineering when it gets here. I do respect those who do mainly do ship combat as their main source of gameplay, and I also respect Yogi because he has for the most part been very open to communicating the vision and changes of master modes, and he's even appeared on Space Tomato with Avenger 1. However, lately we've seen communication not really giving reasons why, or the devs even offering up explanation if they post a change at all, but them just appearing on Evocati. Now, technically the things on Evocati are there for testing purposes before being introduced into the wild, and I get that. I also believe that some things implemented are not meant for a build and do slip through, since the build feature prioritization does shuffle a lot, and early builds could have things that are not quite ready to make it in yet. But with something like the Corsair's removal of 2 guns from the pilot, this is something that everyone, including the devs, knew would cause concern for players. I think CIG sometimes forgets that they sell an item using marketing to point out that you can pilot this ship and fire 6 guns, and that is a valid reason for a player to purchase that ship. Even though they do stipulate that things are subject to change, which I guess covers them legally, and we do have the option to melt or upgrade ships to one that we might find more to our liking when we get pissed at one, it still flies in the face of players and keeping their trust to make a change like that and not forewarn or at least explain the thinking of the change either before it hits or as soon as it's become talked about openly. We shouldn't be begging CIG for details on a purposeful change that will literally affect one of the most popular ships in the game. Right now, the ship features and vehicle designers are coming under a lot of fire and have been throughout the year. Ships are the #1 element of Star Citizen. It's their biggest feature and therefore also its most scrutinized. It's also the one thing that the company cannot afford to screw up. Now, maybe the devs have been quiet about some of these changes because it will be discussed and broken down in a presentation at CitizenCon, where some major news or initiatives for master modes is sure to be highlighted. But still, something like this nerf should have been addressed. And in a year where morale for ship flight and combat has been at an all-time low, and players have been distressed, and controversies are springing up every time we get a new notification about ship components or speed changes, I think the players need some good news and not more stealthy switcheroos without any context. There's definitely room for better communication, which should come with each new detail that's going to affect our ships. Anyway, that is all, and thank you for hearing my complaint. I'm not trying to champion either side here, and while I think there is room for CIG to do better, I also think players could do better to offer up better feedback where it belongs, but also to give the devs a chance to present the full vision instead of the piecemealing that we have now, and assuming that things will only get worse. Something as large and expansive as the ship combat system, with everything it is to include, is unlike anything ever done before in any other game. And while it would have been nice to get all systems in place at once to test everything, we know that's not how Star Citizen works. Now, if you found this helpful or would like to help amplify my complaint, the easiest way to do so is to share this video, like, and comment below on any suggestions that you have. Let's have a conversation about it, and why not join my Discord where me and others have some good conversations about all things Star Citizen and more, including these ship changes. Anyway, I've been Black, and thank you for watching, and let's try to keep it positive out there as we make our way through this very non-perfect verse.